everybody, welcome to another video. So first let me say I apologize for the empty space. My cats decided that they wanted to play with my background, so now I'm missing half of it, but it's fine. Also, my hair is purple now, so that's a thing. But I have a lot to talk about in this video, so it's probably gonna be pretty long, so I'm gonna just get right up into it. I have been reading this book. It is called The Same Kind of Different as Me, and I love this book. I'm definitely going to be reading it a second time. So, being someone who's not very eloquent, I'm not going to try and describe this book to you. I'm just going to read the back, whatever. There's a name for this description. I'm just going to read that. So it says, a dangerous, homeless drifter who grew up picking cotton in virtual slavery, an upscale art dealer accustomed to the world of Armani and Chanel, a gusty woman with a stubborn dream, a story so incredible no novelist dare dream it. It begins outside a burning plantation hut in Louisiana, and in East Texas honky-tonk, and without a doubt in the heart of God. So let me just stop right there real quick. This book is very Jesus-y. But being someone who isn't Jesus-y, it's still a good book regardless of that. Anyways, it unfolds in a Hollywood hacienda, an upscale New York gallery, a downtown dumpster, a Texas ranch. So what they mean by that is every chapter kind of jumps perspectives. It goes from Ron, the husband, or one of the main characters, his perspective, and Denver, the dangerous homeless drifter, his perspective. So it kind of goes back and forth. Gritty with pain and betrayal and brutality, it also shines with an unexpected life-changing love. That's the end of the book. The end of the book is the best part. I'm not going to spoil it, obviously. This incredible retelling now includes an interview with the authors, and okay, that part doesn't matter. But this is actually a true story, which is what I found really interesting about it. And in the back of the book, they even include like some pictures of the actual people, which I also think is really dope because it kind of like helps you connect to them a little bit better. But this isn't a review of the book, actually. This is about the back of the book. If you go to the back, there is a reader's guide here with some different questions. And I thought I would answer them for you. Now, I will go ahead and disclose that I did write all my answers out ahead of time just so I could kind of like have more gathered thought. Because as I previously mentioned, I am not the most eloquent person, especially on the spot. So it kind of breaks up the questions with different subjects. And another disclaimer, a lot of the questions, I would say like at least 40% of the questions were involving God, and I just went ahead and skipped over those ones because they were like, you know, how does this relate with your journey with God and things like that. So I just skipped over those questions, and I just answered the questions that were more open-ended, if you will. So the first topic is prejudice, and the first question is, what are some modern examples of prejudice other than racial prejudice? Because in the book, obviously with the whole plantation thing, it does go into a lot of racial prejudices. So my answer to that was obviously other than racial. I said, you know, this is a big thing even still today, you know, gender inequality, you know, people believing, you know, this men and women roles, everyone has certain, in regards to like certain lifestyles and relationships. Also like gender identities, that's a big thing. You know, there's a huge debate on what genders would be considered valid or not. And honestly, like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, if people are happy and not causing harm to anyone, who cares if they identify as a fucking toaster? You feel me? I mean, of course, there is also prejudice about sexuality that can be combined with gender, as like, you know, like slut shaming, rape culture, things of that nature. Not even to mention homophobia, including within the GRSM community. Like, people, there's this whole thing that people have been more inclusive with bisexuality than they have been in the past. A lot of people think they're confused or whatever the circumstances may be. But there's definitely a lot of prejudices surrounding people's gender and sexual identities. The next question is, what are 3 things you can do to combat your personal prejudices? And just to kind of clarify, this, I assumed that this meant like prejudices that I would have against another person. And I mean, I believe everyone judges people whether they realize it or not, honestly. So, I mean, three things you could do is recognize it when you're having a prejudiced thought or a homophobic thought or a racial thought, whatever it may be. To recognize that it is it is a problematic thought and it's not a good thought to have. And then question, why are you having that thought? Like, why did I assume this about this person and what was it based off of? And then the third thing would be like to correct it within yourself. Like, again, recognize it, understand why you did it, and then tell yourself not to do that again. And understand, especially, mostly understand why you shouldn't think that way. So I believe, yeah, that's the last question under prejudice is, what does being prejudiced say about your personal self-esteem? So honestly, I think that there's lots of different reasons why people are prejudiced, including like having internalized hatred. I feel like a lot of the reasons why people have prejudices against others is because they see that quality within themselves and they don't like that and they don't want to recognize that. So they lash out at other people and kind of blame them because they don't understand, and instead of seeking out knowledge, they kind of deflect it onto somebody else, you know? So I think that just says about you that you really need to take some personal time and reflect about what you're struggling with yourself and just focus on that instead. So the next topic is on homelessness. So the first question was, what is your initial reaction to encountering a homeless person or someone in serious financial or personal need? So for me, it's usually just like sadness. I wouldn't say pity or anything like that. It's more closer to like an empathetic kind of feeling. Because, you know, I mean, although I am very lucky that I'm not homeless and I have a roof over my head, I have heating, I have cooling, I have food in my fridge, you know, I have a car, I have all these things. I still do experience a level of poverty. I mean, if you consider, I can't remember where it was. I'll have to leave the link for where I found this information in the description, but I saw somewhere that basically the income considered to be below poverty level is anything under 18,000, and not to like put my business all out there, but I make significantly less than that, which I'm sure will increase as I'm older. But even my certain members of my family that are older than me still struggle with that. So I definitely feel empathy usually towards those people, because I have had worries about being in that situation, like real worries about that before. So, which kind of leads into the next question. If you were in that situation, how would you want others to respond to you? And I think that's a very important thing to think about before you encounter anybody in a certain type of way. You know what I mean? Like, if you see somebody, you're like, how would I want someone, if I was them, how would I want me to react to me? Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? And again, I would want them to feel empathetic, not sympathetic. You know, I wouldn't want someone to pity me. I don't want them to like, look down on me as charity or whatever, you know. I think it's important to give back to those in need, but also see them for who they really are, and not just feel like we have to help people who are in need because we should, if that makes sense. Number 3, other than give money to social service agencies, what are 3 things you can do to help the homeless in your community? So I'll be honest, as much as I would like to imagine myself actually doing things, I don't really have means to help out a whole lot. But I think volunteering is very important. Again, I don't really see myself doing it that much, mostly as like a time reason, which I know is an excuse. We all should make time to give back to our community, but we all fucking don't. So don't lie. Don't sit back there and say, oh, I need to help out more. Your bitch ass sitting in your fucking room watching this too. But yeah, so I mean, like, providing things like food services, personal care services, you know, go out and not just like give someone money on the street, but like offer to take them out to dinner, or give them like some personal care items like toothpaste, toothbrushes, soap, things of that nature that are like really important. So the next topic is a pretty big topic in the book, actually. Not to spoil anything, I'm not going to say anything else, but it's suffering and sickness. So the first question is, recognizing our mortality puts life into perspective. What are 3 things for which you want to be remembered, and what are you doing to accomplish these goals? So I think this is honestly a great self-reflection question. I think it's far too often that people talk about having big dreams, but don't really do a whole lot to actually make them happen. Like, for example, I would love to be remembered by my loved ones as someone who you can always lean on, someone you can always go to when you need to talk or you feel whatever, feel some type of way, whatever. And I always try to make it known to the people around me that I'm always there for them, to listen without judgment. Cause I have no room to judge. I'm like, also, I really like to be remembered as a hard worker. It's definitely something that I'm working on. There's elements of my life where I do work hard. And there's other parts of my life where I definitely have room to push myself harder. And as someone who fought for change, that would be another thing that I would like to be remembered as. And I'll be honest there as well. There isn't much that I've done in that area to really impact anything significantly, but I do hope one day that I will be introduced to or find better ways that I could invoke change within the world instead of just talking about it, Which, don't get me wrong, talking about it is a good way to help, but that only does so much. So the next topic is on forgiveness. So the first question is, why is it harder to forgive? Oh, no. Is it harder to forgive or to receive forgiveness, and why? So from my experience, receiving forgiveness is a lot harder because, first of all, to receive forgiveness, you have to admit that you have done something wrong. I mean, don't get it twisted. I think forgiving people, it can be really hard, especially when someone has done something really bad to you. To forgive them can be a really, really hard thing to do. But to receive forgiveness when you're the one doing the hurting, takes a lot of responsibility and desire to change yourself. So why is it hard? Why is it so hard for us to grant unconditional forgiveness, and how can you become a more forgiving person? So this is the one question that I kind of have a problem with. Okay, so I feel like no one is deserving of forgiveness, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like unconditional forgiveness is bullshit. So like when you decide to hurt another person, you're giving up your part of that relationship. Like, you have put it up to them now that they are the ones that get to decide if they want to forgive you or not. It's not up to you. And if they do decide to forgive you, you have to realize that it's usually not for you. It's for them, it's for their healing, and they will be the ones deciding whether or not to continue this relationship. So I think the idea of unconditional forgiveness is a scapegoat for people to do dumb things and hurtful things to others. Next question is, what is the role of forgiveness in your life? So, to me, forgiveness is something, like I said, that you kind of give to yourself. It's not something that you forgive another person, but you do it usually, I would say, for your own healing process. Like, you're going to say, okay, I'm not going to hold on to this grudge anymore because it's weighing my heart down, and I don't want to have to deal with that anymore. So, I mean, if you forgive them, you forgive them if you believe that it'll help you heal. And, you don't have to forgive people if you don't want to. If you feel like someone did something to you that is unworthy of forgiveness in your heart, then fuck them. So the last topic is faith. I'll admit, by faith, they mean your religious faith, but I decided to interpret faith as just like having, you can have faith in yourself. You can have faith that things will get better for you. That kind of, you know what I'm saying? So in chapter 44, Denver said, "Our limitation is God's opportunity." How has this statement been authenticated in your life? So, I like to rephrase that, actually. I know I can't rephrase the quote. I'm just going to put it in my own words, though. I think a better way to say that is our limitunity. I cannot say English. Our limitations are really our opportunities, okay? Because at any time that you feel like you're being challenged, it's really a chance for you to push yourself. It's a chance to learn something new. I'd like to think that I test my limits, and I do to a degree, like my credit card limits, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely can do better, and I plan to very soon. The next question is, Deborah extended the reach of her ministry by investing in the lives of others. How are you investing in the lives of others? Okay, so, again, another really great self-reflection question. It's so easy to get caught up in your own bullshit, you know what I mean? and you focus on all your attention on yourself, which, I mean, it's good to an extent. You should care about yourself and you should come first in your own life, definitely. But I agree that remembering that there's other people in the world is, and finding ways to make your existence in those people's lives better. Whether it's just like sending someone a birthday card when they think you weren't going to, or, giving someone advice on whatever, or, something bigger, even like helping out someone with their business they're starting, buying their products or whatever, there's lots of things you can do. Spend time with them. That's another really big thing. It's just being around people that you care about and letting them know that, yes, I am here for you. You know what I'm saying? There's big and small ways that you can positively influence the people in your life. All right, folks, the last question. The memorial service for... Oh, gosh. Spoiler alert. If you're going to read this book, spoiler alert, it's going to spoil a lot right here. The memorial service for Deborah was a celebration. How can such a somber occasion be a celebration? I think that's a good question. But I think a lot of people understand already what that is, but I'll go ahead and explain why I think it is anyways. Ooh, and a fuzzball. So death in and of itself is really sad, and it's hard to see someone, see someone's life end, especially someone you really cared about and you had a lot of happy times with, to realize that those things aren't going to happen anymore. It's really hard for a lot of people to deal with, But a lot of people choose to see funerals as a celebration of life instead of a funeral. Is because it's like a chance to honor that person, you know what I mean? It's a chance to remember all the things that they did with their life and how the impact that they made on all the people in their lives. Their sisters, their brothers, their whoever, their friends. To think about all the good things that they did and to be like, yeah, it sucks that they're gone, but let's look at all the good that they brought us and just be happy that they graduated life. It's like when you leave high school, it's sad to leave high school for a lot of people, but that you're on to better things. And it's the same thing with life, everyone has to die eventually. So you just have to do what you can to have a really good life and impact people in a really good way so that when you eventually do graduate life, people will be like, yeah, you know what? I'm really glad that I knew that person. So, I don't know if any of my answers even made sense to you guys. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do, to actually, answer some, book club questions and kind of, have a little tiny discussion with myself. I will leave, the questions in either in a pinned comment or in the description, and you guys, if you want to answer them yourselves, you can. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on these, questions. And if you're interested in purchasing this book, I will be leaving an affiliate link in the description, so you can definitely check it out. It's a really good book. It's probably one of my favorites. Again, it's kind of Jesus-y, but that really doesn't deflect from the real, kind of moral of the story, if you will. It's a really good story. You guys should definitely check it out. Nope, that's not sponsored or anything, you know what I'm saying? All right, well, hope you guys have a good day.